The noon sun blazed mercilessly over the canyon lands, turning every stone into a shimmering mirror of heat. Cowboy Jacob Hale tugged the brim of his hat lower, guiding his tired horse along the narrow trail carved by centuries of wind. He had ridden through Apache territory before, but never this deep. He only meant to escape the dust storm behind him, yet fate had other ideas. The world felt still, too still, until a faint, broken sound drifted upward from the canyon floor. Jacob pulled the reins, listening. There it was again, a cry, weak but unmistakably human. He dismounted instantly and crawled to the edge. Far below, half buried beneath a slab of sandstone, lay a young Apache girl. Dust streaked her cheeks, blood darkened her leg, and her breath came in sharp, painful shudders. But her eyes, fierce, unbroken, locked onto him with defiance. "Make it quick, cowboy," she forced out, voice trembling yet stubborn. "I won't scream." The words stunned him. She thought he came to kill her. Jacob slowly raised both hands to show he meant no harm. "Easy now. I ain't here to hurt you." Her fingers twitched toward the knife tied to her thigh, but she didn't draw it. The canyon looked like it had trapped her for hours, maybe longer. Jacob tied a rope to a jutting rock and descended carefully, boots sliding on loose gravel. When he reached her, he knelt a safe distance away. "What's your name?" he asked gently. She hesitated, then answered in a strained whisper. "Lensa, daughter of Chief Dasan." Jacob understood immediately. An important girl, a warrior's daughter. Her spirit matched her lineage even now. He examined the boulder pinning her leg. It wasn't enormous, but it was wedged deep and dangerously. One wrong move and he could make her injury worse. "You scream if this hurts," he warned. Her eyes narrowed. "I said I won't." Jacob braced his shoulder against the rock, gritted his teeth, and pushed with every ounce of strength he had. The stone shifted, groaned, then rolled free. Lensa gasped sharply, lips tightening to hold back a scream. The effort nearly toppled Jacob, but he caught himself and hurried to support her. "We gotta get you out of this furnace," he said. But before he could lift her, the distant rumble of hooves echoed down the canyon walls. Lensa's eyes widened in alarm. "My people," she whispered. "They will think you did this." Jacob's heartbeat thundered. The canyon suddenly felt like a trap for them both. Jacob lifted Lensa into his arms as gently as he could, though she stiffened with every movement. Her injured leg dangled helplessly, and he could feel the tension in her body. She was fighting the pain, fighting the fear, fighting the possibility that everything was about to go terribly wrong. The canyon walls echoed with the approaching thunder of hooves, stirring dust clouds that rose like warning signals into the hot air. By the time Jacob reached the top of the trail with Lensa in his arms, 3 Apache riders emerged over the ridge. Their horses stopped in unison, nostrils flaring. The warriors sat tall in their saddles, bows raised, their faces painted for war. The sight alone told Jacob the truth. They believed they had caught him hurting one of their own. Lensa struggled to straighten herself. "Stop!" she cried, though her voice cracked. "He helped me." But to the riders, a cowboy holding a wounded Apache girl was already a crime. One rider loosed an arrow without hesitation. Jacob twisted his body instinctively, feeling the wind of the arrow whip past him before it buried into the ground at his heel. "Damn!" he muttered under his breath. "Put me down," Lensa whispered urgently, desperation flickering in her eyes. "You can't stand," Jacob insisted. "Then hold me up," she whispered fiercely. They must see strength, not helplessness. "Apache, listen to strength." Jacob tightened his grip around her waist and helped her straighten, letting her lean forward with dignity instead of weakness. Her breathing trembled, but her voice carried across the dry winds. "Brothers, if this man meant to harm me, I would already be dead." The riders hesitated, their bows lowering slightly as they exchanged suspicious glances. The eldest among them, stern, scarred, and clearly the leader, rode forward. His eyes were sharp as flint, and Jacob felt as though the man was dissecting every breath he took. "What happened?" the warrior demanded. Jacob kept silent. Lensa answered quickly, voice strained but firm. "A rockslide trapped me. He freed me." The leader studied her wound, then Jacob's rope, then the disturbed rocks on the canyon ridge. Slowly he nodded. "You will come with us," he said coldly to Jacob. "Chief Dasan will decide your fate." Jacob knew refusal meant death. He mounted his horse with Lenza in his arms as the riders formed a tight circle around them. As they rode deeper into Apache territory, Jacob realized something unsettling. Saving Lenza might have been the easy part. Surviving her people would be the real challenge. Night descended as the Apache riders escorted Jacob through their sprawling camp. Firelight flickered against woven hides and wooden poles, casting long, tremoring shadows across the packed earth. Dozens of tribespeople gathered silently as they saw Lenza in Jacob's arms, their faces twisting with shock, anger, and suspicion. Children peeked from behind their mothers. Warriors reached for weapons. The tension hung thick enough to choke on. Chief Dasan stepped forward from the largest lodge, his presence commanding without a word. His broad shoulders and deep-set eyes made him look like a man, carved from the very stone of the canyon. When he saw his daughter's torn leg and dust-covered face, a dark storm passed through his gaze. "Who did this to her?" Dasan demanded, his voice echoing over the crackling fires. Lenza lifted her chin, fighting pain to speak clearly. "A rockslide, father. He pulled me free." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some warriors scowled, shaking their heads as if refusing to believe the words. Others exchanged uncertain glances, weighing the truth against old bitterness. Dasan's stern eyes fixed on Jacob like arrows ready to fly. "You are a stranger on our land," the chief said slowly, "and our history with your kind is stained with betrayal. Why risk yourself for her?" Jacob swallowed, but kept his voice steady. Didn't matter who she was. She needed help. Dasan's gaze narrowed, circling Jacob as if searching for any sign of deception. Jacob kept his hands visible, his breath controlled, but his heart pounded hard enough he feared the warriors could hear it. Near him, Lenza trembled with exhaustion, yet remained upright, determined to shield the man who saved her. "Many would have left her to die," the chief said. "Some have left our people to worse." "Maybe they would," Jacob replied quietly. "But I don't answer for other men, only for myself." The crowd grew silent. Even the crackling fires seemed to pause. Chief Dasan finally stopped in front of Jacob and looked him directly in the eye. The longest moment passed between them before he nodded once. "You will stay in this camp until my daughter heals," he declared. "Then you may go. We will not harm a man who saved one of ours." Protests erupted, but Dasan raised a hand and the camp fell obediently still. Lenza exhaled shakily, relief softening her hardened expression. She gripped Jacob's sleeve and whispered, "You're safe now, at least for tonight." But Jacob sensed the truth beneath her words. He was stepping into a storm far bigger than a canyon rockslide. His fate and hers had only just begun to intertwine.